Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam and this is a Bloodgood Japanese Maple. This is the beautiful purple foliaged, upright growing Bloodgood Japanese Maple. Bloodgood Japanese Maples can eventually reach 15, 20, maybe even 25 feet in height and probably 15 feet in width. Like most Japanese maples, Bloodgood is definitely very cold hardy. It can grow all the way up to zone 5 and then down to zone 8. Although still moderately slow growing, Bloodgood's going to be much faster than the cut leaf varieties, than the weeping varieties. We might get 6 inches to maybe even a foot of growth out of these in a single season. In terms of sun or shade on these Bloodgood Japanese maples, I think if you're in zone 5, probably even 6A, you can put it in almost all day full sun without much of a problem. Where I'm at in zone 7B, if I put it in full sun all day, by midsummer, it's really worn out looking. The leaves just become brown on the edges. They just don't look great by late July and most of August, and that really cuts out a lot of the fall color, which is one of the most desirable things with this plant. So as you get further and further south, this is a plant that you probably want to find a spot where you could find some afternoon shade for it, where some taller trees are on the west or the north of it. The primary use of Bloodgood is just going to be as a small ornamental tree. It's great near a patio to offer a little bit of shade. This thing actually makes a good container plant, probably not in zone 5. I doubt it would be cold hardy in a container in zone 5, but in zone 6, 7, or 8, almost certainly this would make a fantastic container plant. It probably gets too large to use near a foundation. It would be tempting to put this on a corner, but I think it would get too big in time. You'd probably want to use a cut leaf maple or one of the weeping Japanese maples. This is a great tree if you want to put a tree on a very small lot. Of course, the primary feature on these Bloodgood Japanese maples is this purple foliage, which it has throughout the growing season. I picked this tree on purpose. It's got some green in the interior. It was being shaded by some other trees. They definitely do need some direct light to make sure it keeps its best purple color. This one is, like I say, off color in the middle because it was in too much shade. So like I said, it needs some shade in the south, but you need to put enough direct light on it, you know, at least 6 hours a day to keep it its best color. The fall color on these is amazing. It's like a scarlet red color, really striking then as well. The bark on them as they age becomes quite nice. This is a young tree here, so it's not showing any of those qualities yet. I've included videos with planting instructions for shrubs and trees in the description of this video. These are very hardy trees, and as long as you don't plant it too deep and don't cover anything that's not covered when you purchased it, these are grafted near the bottom here to a green Japanese maple, and you don't want to bury that graft. That's very important, and if you ever see pieces coming from below where the graft is, that's not a Bloodgood Japanese maple, and those need to be cut off pretty quickly. But make sure you're not burying this thing in mulch, not overwatering it, not burying it too deep. Your Bloodgood maple is going to be reasonably drought tolerant once it's rooted into the ground. The first year you'll want to keep a close eye on it. Just drown the space around it if it's dry, and then let it dry out again before you do that again. In the future, if you see any leaves getting their fall color, turning red on the interior of the plant, that's probably telling you it's dry, and at that point you can drag a water hose to it again, drown it, let it dry out. I would definitely fertilize your Japanese maple about the time it's waking up in the spring. The best color on the leaves on this plant are on the newest growth, and we can get a lot more of that by fertilizing them. Any outdoor slow release fertilizer that'll last 3 or 4 months would be perfect. There's not a lot of pruning that's going to need to be done on your Japanese maple. Definitely if you see anything growing below the graft at the base of it, get it off quickly. That is not a Bloodgood Japanese maple. It needs to go quickly. If you have any lower limbs that are sticking out, you know, left or right, and are going to end up in your face in the future, I'd probably go ahead and take those off when you plant it. Once it gets up to a certain height, it's going to be very difficult to prune. So if you're getting crazy limbs on it early on that are kind of out of balance with the tree, you might want to take those off while you can still reach them. There really aren't a lot of pests on these Bloodgood Japanese maples. I got some caterpillars in mine last year, and I just cut the branch out that had the caterpillars on them rather than spray them. And we'll see some leaf spot on the leaves if they're staying wet for a prolonged period of time. As long as they're drying out pretty quickly in the morning, that shouldn't be a problem. Deer like all maples, and they will sample these for sure. If you have deer problems, it's not going to be near the top of their list, but if they run out of other options, they will go after these. So what are you waiting for? Even you can grow the beautiful purple foliage, ornamental Bloodgood Japanese Maple. Thank you for watching my video, and if it was helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for future videos. Also, comment below with any questions you have about Japanese maples. Thanks again.